Hello and welcome. In this tutorial, I want to go over an application problem related to a quadratic in standard form. For these types of problems, we'll need to be able to reason as to which key feature it is that we need to find. So let's take a look at this graph of a quadratic function. So we have a parabola, and we can see that it has two x-intercepts, a vertex, and the y-intercept. If we add some context to this, usually the x-intercepts are going to be the ground or a surface. The vertex is going to be related to the maximum or the minimum, and then your y-intercept is going to be the initial height. Keeping this in mind, let's begin with this scenario. A whale is swimming underwater and dives down to eat some plankton before rising up to the surface for air. The depth of the whale in feet and the time since the dive started in seconds can be modeled by the equation y equals 1/2 x squared minus 2x minus 5. When will the whale reach the surface? I will begin by sketching a little diagram to make sense out of the problem, and this is the scenario. We have a whale that's swimming underwater, and then it sees a plankton, goes down, eats it, and goes back and reaches the surface. We are trying to find when the whale will reach the surface, and that is going to be represented by the x-intercept. The x-intercept, recall that those are the key features that are on the surface. So the math is going to give us two solutions, but we're not going to care about the one on the left. We only care about the one on the right. So I am going to solve this quadratic equation using the quadratic formula, and I'll get the bigger of the two. That's going to represent when the whale reaches the surface. To apply quadratic formula, I'm going to label the a value, the b value, and the c value. And now I'm going to plug them into my formula. So I'm going to get that x is equal to negative 2, since my b value is negative 2. And that's going to be plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by c. So multiply it by 1/2 and then multiply it by negative 5. That's going to get divided, or everything's going to get divided by 2 multiplied by a, and the a value is 1/2. So I am going to get x equal, the negative and the negative are going to make positive, so I get positive 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 to the second power. That's going to be 4. And then notice here that I have a negative and I have another negative right here. Negative times negative is positive, so this is going to become a plus. And now I'm going to multiply these three numbers together. 4 times 1/2, that's going to be 2. And then 2 times 5 is going to be 10. Here in the denominator, 2 times 1/2 is going to be 1. And this is going to simplify to x equal to 2 plus or minus 4 plus 10 is 14. And these are the exact solutions. For this problem, we don't want both solutions. Okay, we only want the one that represents when the whale reaches the surface, so we have to get the bigger of the two. And here, using a calculator, the solutions are 5.74 and 1.74. So the 5.74 is going to be the one that represents the time when the whale reached the surface. So the answer is going to be at 5.74 seconds. Let's view another problem using the same scenario. So here we want to find how deep the plankton is. So referring back to our diagram, this time we want to see how deep that animal is. And to find that, we are going to have to make use of the minimum of the parabola. And the minimum is related to the vertex. Now, to find the vertex, we're first going to have to calculate the axis of symmetry, which is going to be negative b over 2a. And then we're going to plug whatever we get to get the y value, which is what we want because we want the depth. So here, let's begin by calculating negative b over 2a. So we have negative, and then the b term is going to be negative 2. And then we're going to divide that by 2 multiplied by a. The a value, that's 1/2. So here we get negative, and then negative comes to positive 2. And then 2 times 1/2 is 1. So the x value is 2. Now we're going to substitute x for a 2. So here we get that a y is going to equal 1/2 multiplied by 2 squared minus 2 times 2. And we're going to subtract 5. Again, everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it by a 2. That's going to help us solve for y. So here we get that we have 1/2, 2 squared, that's 4. And then 2 times 2 is another 4, minus 5. 1/2 multiplied by 4, that's going to give us 2. We're going to subtract 4, we're going to subtract 5. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. And then negative 2 minus 5 gives us a negative 7. So y is equal to negative 7. That tells us that the vertex is going to be 2, negative 7. The x represents seconds, the y represents depth. This problem is asking for how deep the plankton is. So we're going to say, well, that's going to be 7 feet.